Venezuelan air defense systems manufactured in Russia were not connected to radar stations during the U.S. air raid on Caracas. The New York Times reported on this, citing U.S. government officials. Thus, some of the elements of the air defense systems purchased from Russia, in particular the Buk M2E and S-300VM, were not put on combat duty even at the height of the U.S.-Venezuelan confrontation and were kept in storage. Militarny has already reported on the destruction of 2 launch and loading units, 2 launchers, and 1 command post from the Buk M2E complex, which were located at a facility similar to a warehouse. According to the publication's sources, the launchers were not previously connected to radar stations, which effectively ensured the smooth running of the operation. Former CIA station chief in Venezuela, Richard de la Torre, noted that the key reasons for the Venezuelan air defense system's inability to function were years of corruption, logistical problems, and the effects of international sanctions. At the same time, according to officials, Russia also bears some responsibility. It was Russian instructors and technical specialists who were supposed to ensure the full operability of the delivered systems and maintain them in proper technical condition. De la Torre also cited the Russian-Ukrainian war as one of the factors behind the failure, noting that Russia no longer has sufficient resources to support its arms exports. In addition, 2 former U.S. officials, cited by the NYT, suggested that Moscow may have deliberately allowed military equipment sold to Venezuela to gradually fall into disrepair in order to avoid further escalation of relations with Washington. In general, Venezuela systematically faces problems in servicing Russian weapons, often lacking both the necessary spare parts and sufficient technical expertise for their full operation, according to Michael Kaufman, Senior Fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Chinese-made radar stations were on combat duty in Venezuela. At the same time, according to an anonymous senior U.S. military official, U.S. aircraft destroyed these radars, further depriving Russian air defense systems of their ability to operate effectively and rendering them virtually helpless. The Center for Countering Disinformation of Ukraine reports that Russia has publicly admitted for the first time that a private military company is involved in its so-called cultural centers in African countries, assisting in their opening and security operations. The head of Rosotrudnichestvo, Yevgeny Primakov, publicly admitted that one well-known African private military company was involved in the opening of Russian houses in Mali and the Central African Republic. Moreover, according to him, some representatives of this PMC later went on to work directly for the Russian state structure. This statement shatters the myth about the exclusively cultural nature of the activities of Russian houses. Primakov admits that in practice, Russian houses are not neutral platforms for cultural exchange, but an element of hybrid operations. Thus, Russia is actually admitting that it uses military and coercive instruments of influence under the guise of humanitarian and educational diplomacy. It is also important that Primakov's statement came after numerous reports of the involvement of PMC representatives in serious human rights violations in Mali and the Central African Republic. This once again demonstrates that so-called cultural initiatives of Moscow carry risks for stability and security in various regions of the world. In the Black Sea, drones attacked at least 3 Russian oil tankers heading to the Caspian Pipeline Consortium terminal, located near the Russian port of Novorossiysk on the Black Sea coast, to load Kazakh oil. The Delta Harmony, Delta Supreme, and Matilda were hit while waiting to dock, according to Reuters. 2 drones struck the Matilda about 48 kilometers from the CPC berths and then left the area. A fire broke out on board the Matilda, but it was quickly extinguished. The crew was unharmed and the ship remained operational. The attacks took place in the Black Sea near the Russian coast, not in Kazakh waters, as some sources initially reported. The Delta Harmony tanker was to load oil from the Tengiz field, and the Matilda was to load oil from Karachaganak. The CPC terminal handles about 80% of Kazakhstan's oil exports to world markets via the Black Sea. Due to restrictions on the terminal's operations, production in Kazakhstan fell by 35% between January 1st and 12th. In November, a drone already hit one of the CPC berths, which weakened the operation of the entire hub. Kazakhstan has stated that only one berth is currently operational, which is insufficient for normal exports. Attacks on CPC tankers and berths pose a risk to the global oil market, increasing freight and insurance costs. A drone recently attacked a tanker in the Black Sea that was heading to Russia. Russian assault units are pressing into northern Pakovsk, aiming to break past the railway line, according to Ukraine's 7th Corps. Their stated objective is to establish a foothold for a push toward Hryshine, a key tactical position. Ukrainian defenders, however, are striking first. Precision drone attacks and coordinated artillery fire are disrupting Russian troop concentrations, halting the enemy's buildup before it can gain momentum. Fighting is particularly intense near the city's industrial zone in the northwest, where both sides are vying for control. A decisive factor in the defense is the Drone Systems Coordination Center, operational since late 2025 at the base of the 7th Air Assault Corps. This joint hub integrates operators from the Air Assault, Ground Forces, Navy, Police, and National Guard, enabling real-time intelligence sharing and precision strikes. Since the start of 2026, the center has reportedly eliminated or wounded 518 Russian soldiers, destroyed over 90 vehicles, multiple robotic platforms, and hundreds of enemy fortifications. As Russian units struggle to advance, Ukraine's coordinated drone and artillery strategy continues to blunt the offensive, making northern Pokrovsk a key battleground where modern combined arms tactics are shaping the fight. Russian diplomat who died in Cyprus was a GRU officer, according to researcher Dmitry Khmelnytsky. Under diplomatic cover, he allegedly worked with surveillance and spy equipment linked to the embassy. The embassy says he died on January 8th, but revealed this only 4 days later, barred Cypriot police from entering the premises, and withheld a supposed suicide note. Khmelnytsky suggests the delay points to a far more serious incident, possibly an attempted defection that was uncovered and stopped. Archival footage from an enemy drone filming a small Russian assault column moving forward. The first UAZ vehicle carried a 6-man squad. 5 are KIA, armor followed behind. The second and third squads, 15 personnel in total, 4 survived. Result, 16 KIA in a matter of seconds. 16 tourists missing in action who will never be found.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.